Hot summer boys.
You're gonna see a sweat.
Jesus. Peeling off layers. Mark my words.
Hello, and welcome to a Loyalty Cup review. My name is Richie.
My name is Sean.
Andy.
Today we're gonna do a review of the first-time writer-director Elijah Bynum. I looked up pronunciation. It took me a while.
To say Elijah?
No, I did not. The J threw me like Elijah. Elijah.
From your native town, that's usually how it's said, right?
Right.
Alija.
In New Mexico, where we speak English. Yes, that's how I say it. Andy, why don't you tell us what the movie's all about?
Yeah, it's that classic summer movie. You know, kid goes to Cape Cod for the summer, live with his aunt after the tragedy of his father passing away. And he gets tangled up with the wrong crew, becomes a drug dealer, and ends up dating his friend's sister. And then tragedy and conflict ensues. And
is that
what's the synopsis?
Let's look up IMDb style.
All right,
we're just gonna
bleep all that out.
No, we'll see how it compares. All right, Hot Summer Nights is a movie.
Hey, clears that up.
Wait, that can't be the synopsis.
I thought it was a book.
A boy comes of age during a summer he spends in Cape Cod.
Fair enough.
That's less spoilers than what you said.
And that's about as much as this movie deserves for a synopsis.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it has the most generic name, Hot Summer Nights, because it is the most generic movie. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of things that look like other things, but nothing feels extremely distinct. Because of how a lot of these things play out, it is beautiful, but just vapid.
Yeah, it looks good. It's nonsensical. It's essentially a fairy tale for teenagers. And I will go into it more in the spoiler. I really don't have much to say until we get to the spoilers, unfortunately, because there isn't much to say until you just start breaking down the film and how it fails.
Hot Summer Andy. What do you think? Spoiler.
I think if you're a fan of Timothée Chalamet, is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
And you're looking for like a summer movie and you got a bag of popcorn, watch it. You'll probably like it.
If you're walking around with a bag of popcorn and you're thinking, what am I going to do with this? Hot Summer Nights is on.
I found myself in a strange situation
Just go
here.
somewhere else and eat it.
Go home. It's hot outside.
I think if you're prone to critique movies, you're probably not going to enjoy it because there are a ton of issues with it. But I mean, the music's great. It flows well.
Yeah, if you're...
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, listen, if you're a 17-year-old kid and you're looking for something almost edgy and stylish and something to make yourself feel cool talking about it with your other dumb young friends, this is for you. If you're a grown man, there's more movies for you. Sexy movies.
Sexy. Okay, so we're going to jump into spoilers now. If I could lead the discussion in a certain direction, then I think I'd want to talk about how Elijah, very talented director, very obvious on screen, there's a lot of technical prowess going on, right? The way things are edited, shot, cut together, the speed ramping, the lighting is really beautiful in a lot of this movie.
Yeah, it looks great. There's a lot of potential, and I think that's why we've said it before, is that when there's so much potential, when it falls short, is especially a bummer because of what could have been. You know what I mean? I'm excited. I still see what this guy will do in the future because what you say is correct. Like, he's a great director. I would say his writing is not on par.
Yeah, I feel like if you handed another script to this guy, he could really do wonders with it. This one, it felt a lot like I watched it with my girlfriend actually, and the way she described it was like it felt like he.
You've got a girlfriend.
I do. I have a girlfriend, Catherine. No, so the way that she described it was, it felt like the guy had really strong ideas about how to make the movie, right? Almost as if it was storyboarded before it had a story. Before he had reasons to show what he needed to show and to use the pastiche that he did, he didn't have a story.
Mm-hmm. It was like a reel to show like, hey, this is what I can do. Again, it's like a fairy tale. Everything just happens. This kid just kind of falls into, I mean, are we going to get into it?
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to.
Yeah, because it basically starts off, this kid just goes to Cape Cod to spend the summer with his aunt for, I guess, no good reason. Any reason?
Well, because he's acting a fool after his dad died. Yeah.
So he goes there, right? Just happens to fall backwards into hanging out with the coolest kid in town. Everyone has rumors about him. For no good reason, I guess they're friends now. He starts smoking pot.
The way that it gets us from point to point is so disconnected. ever understand why we're at the next place. And it's exactly like you said. The kid has zero motivations, right?
Mm-hmm.
He never at any point says that he wants to be the greatest drug dealer. He never says he wants to be rich.
Yeah.
You never get the feeling that maybe there's some amount of grief that he's working through with his father, but it's hardly brought up. So much so that towards the end, there's this moment where I'm not sure if he blacks out or if it's like a weird flashback, but it shows like this image of him with his mother. But I hadn't thought about her for what felt like an hour and a half.
It's when he gets hit by the car, and then it flashes to white to imply he dies or something. And that's supposed to be like his last scene before he dies, you assume.
I just didn't care about that relationship. It just wasn't,
So I think the part when he even approaches Hunter and says, I want to sell pot with you. He had just told Hunter how he met this girl and he was head over heels for her. And then he goes, I think I want to sell pot with you. And he's like, why? Is he going to impress the girl? And he backs out of it like, oh, no, not at all. That's not why. But that seems to be the only motivating factor. And the narrator, even in the beginning, acknowledges, I still don't know why he did what he did.
Yeah, the narrator stinks.
Yeah.
Why is this person telling us this story? He has no information. Like, it just jumps, like... Okay, so if we're to believe that his motivation for selling the pot is to get the girl, that never is justified. Like, she doesn't want him to sell pot, and he never flaunts his wealth to this girl other than giving her a ride in the Corvette and buying her some Epsom salts. Like, it has nothing to do with his personality, other than maybe it gave him some type of confidence, I guess we're supposed to guess.
I think that at the heart of it, that's kind of what it's supposed to be. It's like he feels disconnected from this Cape Cod community, and so he's like, well, I'll get in deep with this guy's business. Maybe I'll feel something. Is that what it is? He needs to feel something?
But even why? He's there for the summer.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Just
in the movie, they say there's people who come for the summer that are rich, and then there are townies that live there. And at the party, the one girl acknowledges he's neither, and she just walks away.
Yeah.
So that may be the other motivation, is that he doesn't fit in at all, and he thinks that's a way in.
But he's still at a party. Like, that's something. He has no problem getting to where he needs to be, getting what he needs, and he's handed everything. He is given an opportunity to sell more drugs, which he takes. He's then able to sell way more drugs because we are introduced to another character who is just there to help him sell the drugs. He has no problem ever doing it. He runs into no static basically the whole movie. The only time he really does, Hunter comes and bails him out by beating the man basically to death with a pistol.
And actually on the Hunter character, like you and I were talking about this off screen a few days ago, but it's that's the most interesting character in this movie.
He's great.
He's a stereotype, but he's way cooler and more interesting. You have more of a understanding of maybe what his motivations
he has
are.
Depth. You know what I mean?
He's a drug dealer, but he doesn't want to get that big. He's not out there to get.
Cares about his sister and doesn't want her to be involved in anything happening.
Mm-hmm. Right. And he's hot. He's like super buff and
handsome. He has no problem beating a man almost to death with a pistol.
Also very interesting.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
this dude, and that's the thing too, is that this guy is invested in the friendship with the main character
for who knows why.
For who knows why? Maybe just for companionship, because he even says like, you and the girl, his girlfriend that he ends up dating, are the only people who really seem to get me, which is super sad because the dude doesn't get him. He lies to his face. Like, he's really only using him to further him, like, his own position. And it's super sad. So I felt for that kid a lot. He's got a dad who still lives in the town. He's a piece of garbage. He's drinking at the bars, womanizing still. It should have been about him. And then even then it wouldn't have been a movie.
Even then it would have been a very pale imitation of Goodfellas.
Yeah, or just these Boston, like, tough movies.
I watched this thing, and with the stylistic takes, the panning shots, the cuts, and the voiceover over it, and I think it's ripped right out of Goodfellas. I watched the very beginning, the very ending with the kid and the way that he does the voiceover narration, and it sounds very much like they're trying to do what Sofia Coppola was able to do in Virgin Suicides, particularly when they're trying to uphold that female love interest as something like godly and mythic. It's just done so much better in Virgin Suicides with Kirsten Dunst. I watched this and it just is like, this is such a beautiful but pale and empty imitation of other really great things, which sounds like a cop-out, right? Like, oh, it's been done before. I don't feel that way about every movie, but it's what comes out of this one.
Yeah, I think just because there's so many leaps in logic and just uninteresting main character, you just start to wonder why was this made? And again, that's a cop out too. It's like, why is any movie made? It's just for entertainment, but I guess that's what it comes down to, is it falls short in entertaining me. It just makes me upset because I'm yelling at the guy basically in my head. When you get T-boned in a car and your car flips and you come out, you basically run out of the car. Is this a possibility where you have blood all over you, no cuts, and you book straight somewhere else? You realize to get T-boned, someone else has to hit your car. There's a whole other person in this movie that hit this man head on. He doesn't check to make sure anyone's there. We don't see that anyone is okay. There is someone dying and bleeding. It might be a family of 4. You know what I mean? But all this dude can think about is running to Hunter's place and saying, hey, I'm going to die. They're going to kill me. This is just like a symptom of a sick film that just is unable to have that personal connection. You know, there's
doesn't reconcile with what it is to be a human being.
Right.
Almost.
This guy is not a person. He's just okay, and I guess we could say, well, he is there's this metaphor of the hurricane coming, hitting Cape Cod. He is the hurricane that hit Cape Cod and left everything in ruins. Save it. That's not good enough. Yeah.
So yeah, when he left the car and got in the crash, he just left Hunter's garage or whatever, and he was going to Michaela's place. So yeah, in any other movie, they wouldn't survive that. If they do, it's like that happens in the end of No Country for Old Men, and Anton Chigurh has to recollect his thoughts, bandage up his arm with a t-shirt and get a kid's bike and pay him off. And limp away or whatever he does.
You're comparing a movie by master filmmakers.
No, the scene, not the movie.
Yeah, I know, but it's that's really what this is about. Is that this is just always going to be an imitation,
and this is how you do it
much
right.
Better. Yeah,
and this is something that's already happened, and that makes sense. He could have not crashed. His car could have not started, and he could have just ran somewhere. So many things are just there for no reason that you could interchange them with any other scene.
They're there because it's in the script.
Right. It's
we wrote it down, so
it's to move this plot forward, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's just like he had note cards with scenes, and it was like, okay, well, we'll move these all around here. There we go. Kind of like what you said with the storyboarding. He's like, here's this. We'll swap this out for this. What would look better? This.
Yeah.
And does it need to make sense? Does it have to have any emotional weight?
No, dude, it's gonna be cool because I have a dolly shot and it's gonna whip pan.
Check it out. We're gonna crash the car, dude. We're gonna crash it.
Okay, we're dumping on this movie a lot.
Yes.
I want to say some things that we like about the movie because it's like we said in the beginning. I thought it still was a beautiful movie where they go to the drug dealer's place. I really enjoyed
that was
that
one
scene.
of the best scenes in the movie.
That was a really intense drug scene. Yeah.
He's going in. He's already nervous. I think that's one of the few times where you do feel some tension, some anxiety, because he's a stupid, punk, scrawny kid who's going into, not really educated at all as to what to do in the situation, goes into this other drug dealer's house who's on a way higher level than he is. He goes to him, the situation feels dangerous, and the actor who's, I'm going to Google right now, I feel like I'm...
The guy from Pineapple Express.
The guy from Pineapple Express. Is just terrifying, and it kind of subverts your expectations in a really interesting way. I liked it.
Was that the director who was snorting?
I think that was his brother. I read his brother makes a cameo. They look like twins. Either way.
That was a really intense scene, and the acting in this movie is great. I don't have an issue with the acting. There's just no emotional weight behind it, but that's not necessarily their fault. The chick from It Follows did a great job.
William Fichtner. You're a great actor.
Love you, man. If you want to be on the show, my guy, hit us up. We'd love to see what you think about the movies you're in.
I think a lot of the way he imitates other directors and ways of filming, as I said before, it does kind of pull you in and make you watch it.
Andy liked this movie more than us.
Yeah,
I have a list of issues with it, but
we've got some
guarding this conversation. We got some hot takes. Hot nights, hot takes.
So what I was going to say, the first viewing, I definitely did like it. I think his directorial style and the way he films it, sure, he apes other directors and pulls different techniques in, but for me, it allowed me to access the movie and kind of enjoy it the first and second time through. With that said, yeah, you've identified a bunch of things that he just blatantly ripped off, but also there's a ton of issues that kind of pull me out of it. I'm not going to go buy it on Blu-ray, but I enjoyed my viewings.
You buy a DVD for a little cheaper, though.
Maybe an $8 special or something.
Nice.
The fact that they use the title in a piece of dialogue in the movie, as a viewer,
that
takes me out of it.
It's like Chinatown.
it's crazy out here on these hot summer nights.
I think Hunter, they're talking about selling drugs, and he says, like the one drug dealer is saying you can sell it like Cold Jerry's Ice on a hot summer night, and that pulls you out of it. Even if that dialogue wasn't in there, the original script, they show Michaela closing her journal after journaling about something, and it says hot summer nights on the journal. So not only did that suck, and they changed it, but they still kept in the reference to the title. So that's really, really terrible.
If we're wrong about this, I would love to hear an argument otherwise, because we might be totally off on it. So hit us up in the comments, let us know.
Yeah, I totally felt like maybe I was missing there's some glaring omissions to my memory, just because of the way things didn't add up. So that may be the case.
So we'll close on that. Please subscribe if you like what we're doing. We got some hot summer night things coming up. It is hot. It is the summer here. But we do actually have things coming up. So please stay tuned for that. Goodbye.